I'm talking to the clown and the clown's assistant. Hey guys, what's going on? You are listening to The Prototype, only on ThisWeekInGeek.net. I'm one of your hosts this evening. I am Mike the Birdman, but I'm not alone as we begin to wind down our E3 coverage, and we're going to do one of the big conferences today, one of the big three. We're going to be talking about Nintendo's Direct today, but I'm joined with my co-host and pretty much hetero life mate, Alex, the producer from New Berlin.
I am very tired.
Yes.
It's been and I'm still probably going to have to do a wrap up tomorrow on whatever was missed that I.
God.
But yes, like this is more exhausting than last year's one where it was like spread out over the whole summer, but it was like it seems like there was more to watch this year, even though that it was closer together, and there was still like more to watch, but not enough to actually talk about.
And then finally, we are joined by our good friend Ken, who is going to be joining us on our Stargate podcast, and that launches later on this year. He also has his own podcast called This Anime, right, Ken?
Yes, indeed. And also, my movie podcast is back because I'm back to theaters, and well,
I'm still upset
honestly,
about that. You should not be allowed to go back until I get to go.
Yeah, honestly, the movie podcast is just an excuse for me to go to the movies.
Works
because
out.
I get no listenership from that.
You know what? Sometimes you do things for yourself.
Exactly. All right, guys. So we are going to be talking about Nintendo's 2021 presentation today, which is pretty much as E3 begins to wind down. We still have the future thing, which is, I think, them giving awards at E3 for things that haven't been whatever.
It's the stuff where I guess traditionally press would say these were the best trailers in the different categories. Only nobody's had anything hands on, so it doesn't make it like, or the people that have are pre-picked. So it's, I don't know. Why would you not have the press that attended your press events and got press credentials to log into your website, which is already broken, by the way, and hasn't worked right the entire time? Why wouldn't you have them fill out a survey, every single press person that was approved? You went through the process of vetting and approving everybody there, and then none of the website functionality works, which could have easily included surveys and polls to vote.
Yep, but that would be too easy.
That's the ESA for you.
Yeah, so today's presentation from Nintendo, to give some kind of brief thoughts on this, I was very surprised. And what I mean by that is there are more games in this presentation where I said I want this and I want to pre-order it or whatever. I want to own it, basically, than any other presentation I saw this entire show.
Hands down.
Yeah,
and they're not even like crazy high budget games in most cases. They're just ones that look fun.
Yeah, like the only one that has significance, if you really want to buy it right now, is, I would argue, Metroid Dread, its special edition. In Canadian, the special edition after tax will run you about $140. But that's the most expensive, and that's only if you want the special edition.
Yeah, and that gets you, from what I could see, like an art book, a bunch of art cards, like collectible cards, and then a steel book plus a box to cover it all.
Yeah, so I was going to get it, and then I saw the price. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm completely cool with a digital copy.
At that price, they should have included the amiibo.
Yeah, like they really should have.
No, because they'll make more money off the scalpers.
Okay,
yep.
At that price, they should have included a soundtrack sample CD.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. Or something. So yeah, I mean, this year's show from Nintendo surprised the hell out of me. There wasn't anything that really said, oh, that's surprising. Actually, no, that's a lie. The new Metroid, I didn't think we'd get 2 Metroid games.
The 2D was rumored, but it was rumored to be just a straight up Fusion remake.
Yeah, which was
not
not
friggin' Metroid 5.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for those of us that aren't huge into it, Fusion was the Game Boy Color game.
Advance.
Okay, because there was, was
which
it,
is
was there
sequentially, it is the last actual game in the timeline.
Okay, because so there's Metroid, then Metroid 2 was the Game Boy game, right? Then you had Super Metroids 3, and then was Fusion 4?
Yes.
Yes, and then the Metroid Prime takes place, I think, after Metroid 1, but before Metroid Return of Samus, I think. I think that's how it works. I don't know.
And that, well, the Return of Samus, that is the remake of the Game Boy, like Metroid 2, right?
Yeah, yes. Then there's Metroid Zero Mission, and then Other M. I'm not sure where that falls into the timeline.
Other M falls somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it's weird.
Okay, so Zero Mission was the one where I was confused. I was like, I thought that was the fifth, but that's a prequel to everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, now I thought maybe that was what, like, I forgot that Fusion was a thing.
Fusion's actually my second. Actually, it might actually be my first Metroid game that it's my favorite Metroid game, then Super Metroid, because I remember beating it. I was home for Christmas in college in 2006 or 7, and I remember playing it on Christmas Eve. I had to call a friend of mine at like midnight because I was stuck at the last Metroid boss or whatever. I'm like, how the hell do I beat this thing? I want to go to bed. And yeah, it was a good time.
I was looking at it. It appears to be the second highest rated and reviewed 2D Metroid, the Fusion. And it's also outside of the Prime games, I think it's the highest selling other than the Game Boy and maybe Super Metroid. So I didn't realize it was that big of a deal. So yeah, I guess the fans' thoughts of maybe that being a remake would have made sense. But immediately, we're watching and we're getting messages, and I was getting messages from other people on on Discord and that, like, oh my god, are you seeing this? It's like, I've never been a huge Metroid fan. I like the idea of it, but like Metroidvania and that kind of game, it's not usually for me, but it looks good. And when it pops up on the screen, like, it's pretty fast initially where it just says Metroid 5, and I'm like, oh, so this is like not like, because I was like, oh, is this going to be like a teaser initially? I was like, is this going to be like, is it going to go from this into first person right away, and we're going to be like, oh crap, it's Metroid Prime.
I mean, they did do the sort of fake out of it going first person.
Yeah, and then it was like, but then it says Metroid 5, and I'm like, oh, people are going to lose their minds.
I was very surprised.
Yeah, I think my favorite pop-off so far that I've seen is Arlo, who is big Metroid fan, big Nintendo content creator. He is a blue Muppet.
Quite literally a blue Muppet.
Literally a blue Muppet.
Okay, sure, right? Like, they open with that. Like, it was that's the first thing they showed, right?
No. The first thing they showed
was Kazuya from Tekken in Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Which is always the way. If you're Nintendo, you want to kick your show off with a bang. It doesn't even matter if it doesn't appeal to most audiences. You get the Smash community going, you score major points.
The stream kept cutting out for like a split second because 100,000 people kept joining every time a new trailer was dropping.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's been a couple years since I saw that happen at any live stream that was a gaming one. I think the last time was it briefly happened when they announced Sephiroth at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Well, Sephiroth broke, like, almost every time there's been a new Smash character, it is broken something. It's broken Twitter, it's broken some kind of website.
Well, basically, if you want to download any of the new characters, your best suggestion is wait a few days until after its initial release, because Nintendo's servers get overwhelmed when there's a
with me, it's I usually, when a character gets launched, I'm so tired from work, I take a nap, I wake up, and I'll just download it, and it'll be fine.
I remember that when Sephiroth was announced, they actually had internally said that they were expanding their network capabilities for 24 hours.
Well, that, and then also right around when Sephiroth came out, they were also updating just the entire server base because Rise was coming out momentarily.
Yeah, and like it's amazing how they were using, even with the Switch, a code base for all their internet services that was 20 years old.
Now, dumb question. It's been a long time since I played Smash. Is there a Monster Hunter character in there yet?
Nope.
That'll happen next.
Yeah,
That'll be the last. You think that's going to be the last character?
I would think so, just because
No.
there's so much Monster Hunter content coming out this year on the
I'm
Switch.
thinking
I think it's Master Chief.
it's either a big third party for the West or a Pokemon.
In my dream world, if you could give me any character, I want Commander Shepard, female and male, and their ultimate is the Normandy strafes the entire stage with fire. That would be cool.
Because I don't play the game, like, has Sora been added?
Nope.
That would be another good pick.
It's either Sora or Master Chief.
But the problem with Sora is they have to work with Disney as well as Square.
Okay, then imagine this: we don't even see the announcement at a Nintendo Direct; it's at a Microsoft one. It starts out, you hear the Halo music. Let's say that they do a Xbox. I don't know, what do they call it? It's not State of Play. What the hell do they call theirs? Xbox.
They just do showcase.
Yeah. And then they're like, hey, we're going to show off the new Halo game, the single player version. Let's say
it's just going to be a Halo. It's
September.
It's like a special Halo showcase, and then
they show off the single player. Like, oh, but, we got something else for you, and Papa Spencer gives a smile, and then it cuts away and it shows more Halo. And you're like, oh, cool, more Halo. Maybe they're remastering or doing something, and then it zooms out and it's Smash. And if that's how you want it to end, like your battle pass or your character expand, and showing it at an Xbox event would make every single Nintendo fan lose their mind.
On top of the fact that, considering how the first battle pass ended with Byleth, which was kind of a dud.
Yeah.
If that's how they
don't get me wrong, I was happy that Byleth was in. It was just kind of like, that's how you're going to end your battle pass?
Because that would open up the door for, wild speculation about maybe Nintendo properties going over. But I think they would do it. Not that Nintendo would ever put out their games on Xbox, but they would do it to get some sort of partnership for some PC stuff.
The big thing that people are thinking is that the final part of the roster is going to be like a big Sony-ish character, because Microsoft already has some reps.
Isn't that too M-rated though? Maybe.
I mean, if you get Crash, which is technically Activision, but Crash has been always associated with PlayStation.
Crash, I'd put in. Maybe Spyro, again, Activision. Maybe the dude from Medieval, but I don't think enough people know who he is anymore.
No.
People would be mad if it was the skeleton. It would depend on what else they've got. Like Kratos is one of the only.
Kratos would be the only other option.
Truly recognizable Sony property that, even
maybe
kids,
the girl from Horizon.
Like you're not putting in like
Ellie and Joel from The Last of Us.
Without missing her fingers and everything too. Like,
oh god,
that'd be awesome.
What is her final smash? She just tries to strangle somebody and they choke to death.
No, she just jumps on top of them and just starts knifing them. Oh my god, that'd be brutal.
Yeah, no, they're not.
It's still a T rating. No. They want to keep the T rating.
No. They start announcing everything and they're like, we've signed a deal. And it's like, and it pops up saying cross PlayStation and it's fucking Knack.
Oh my god. I actually would laugh at that so hard. I would be like, sure, why the hell not?
Knack shows up on screen and it starts playing the music and everybody's like, oh god, and then Kratos comes from behind and rips him in half.
Oh.
Or Sackboy.
Sackboy would be a good pick.
Sackboy would be fine.
I'd be fine. I would say Astro, but it's not it's not big enough
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
But Sackboy,
give Astro
Another
the rest
couple
of
years.
another couple years.
or if the rumors persisted about Kratos, you play the God of War music, but it's Sackboy with a Kratos skin.
That'd be pretty funny. That'd be pretty funny.
That's a total Sakurai move, though.
Yeah,
He would
exactly.
totally do that.
Exactly. And what it is have Sackboy, and he has tons of different skins that represent all the mascots that Sony has had.
Yeah, I'd be
So you
down
could
for
do
that.
But yeah, so that was
Or Rayman from Ubisoft.
Yeah, why not maybe, but they seem to not care that exists anymore.
Yeah, which is weird. But anyway, so those are my initial thoughts.
Oh yeah, so Metroid Dread is what it's called, by the way. I don't think we mentioned that.
Yeah. The big ones that I wrote down, Super Monkey Ball collection thing.
Is it a collection or is it a new game?
Yeah, it's a collection. I looked it up. It's a collection.
Okay, that would explain why it looked very 480i in some of the scenes. Like, it looks like it's not redone. It looks like it's running an emulation.
Yeah.
Those games are fun, though.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. And
they're decent puzzle games.
Hyrule Warriors Expansion Pass, yada, yada, fun, I guess.
It's a surprisingly good game. I actually really enjoyed Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah. Mario Party Superstars, which is the game that Mario... I literally, on the official Nintendo comment section for the gameplay that they showed at Treehouse, there was someone that literally said, hey, it's the game that Mario Top 100 should have been.
Yeah.
Well, I was a little confused watching initially. I was like, is this just an expansion of the other game? I thought it was the same name as the Mario Party game that already came out.
I thought it was like a stripped down DLC pack of certain maps.
I thought they were taking some of the maps from the game they released, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they clearly use some of the code base from Super Mario Party and...
Oh, is that what it was called? See, that's why, because that's Super in the name. I thought they were taking some of the levels from that and making a free-to-play version that worked with the Pro Controller, because that was the big contention, was that you could only use Joy-Cons with the previous one, and it would not work.
I think that
with
they clearly
with the light.
And going into when I actually sat down and watched the full Treehouse presentation, and they clearly listened to people and their criticisms of Super Mario Party and have fixed a lot of it,
which is interesting because they only ever did, I think, one update. That was
which was the online update that was earlier this year.
Yeah, so like you can understand why I would be confused. Where I'm like the title is too close to the original, but I think this is going to sell much better because the first
it's going to sell gangbusters. It's going to sell gangbusters.
Yeah, they said it works with any controller too. It's not.
Yeah, some of the highlights.
Nothing's tied to touch screens or anything like that.
Some of the highlights I'm going to point out. Character dices are gone. Turn counter.
Know what that is.
Character dices were a big thing for the last couple of Mario parties. They kept. It was the ones that you were in the car. The ones that you were in the car. Those character dices were a big part of those, and that stayed in Super Mario Party. Now they're completely gone, which is
streamlining everything.
Yeah, they're streamlining it back to normal. Turn counter is always on screen.
Okay. So things you would sort of expect it to be doing. So it's a lot of quality of life upgrades.
Yeah, some of the games are slightly reworked. Some of them I saw actually were changed for accessibility. Like one of the original Mario Party games actually has patterns on if you ever played Mario Party, it's Mushroom Mix-Up, and it's just Toad owing you a color, and all the mushrooms go down in the water except that one. Now there's actual patterns on the mushrooms, so if you're colorblind, you can still play the game.
Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense.
Which is really nice.
I really hope that they
like,
upgrade,
really nice,
because it's stuff from the early Mario parties. I'm hoping that they do some corrections so you don't wreck your palm or your
Oh,
Joy-Con.
all those games, they have never re-released any of those games ever.
The ones where you had to spin around in a million. Like,
Yep.
so many kids when I was in grade 4
They got
had horrible blisters on
they
their
got
hands.
sued over that.
I cut my hand on my controller because I used to rub my knuckles over the A button on the GameCube. Oh yeah.
Well, and it was like they would show trailers, or they show like tips and that. They expected kids the way, it wasn't like we were playing it wrong. That was the expectation of how to play. And and that's what it was proven in court, was like that's what they intended us to do. They just didn't think it was going to wreck our precious little hands.
Yeah. The biggest thing, the biggest quality of life, autosave every turn.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Autosave every turn for your online games. If someone drops out, the game will stop, obviously, if someone drops out. But it autosaves every turn, so you don't have to deal with that.
That's a bonus. Let me see if there's any small ones we can sort of say. They showed off Life is Strange,
Which
coming over, which was weird because it had a completely new art style in the opening of the
Yeah,
trailer.
that really
it confused the hell out of people.
I saw that and I was like, oh man, maybe they can't run the graphics for the new engine, but this would be neat as a supplementary or different, if it's like a hand-drawn anime style. Nope, that's just for the intro. And then it was the version that we're already getting on next gen consoles, so there's no
I will
reason
not be surprised if that is running on cloud.
probably because the first game,
by the way, same thing with Guardians of the Galaxy, which was not advertised in the direct.
What the hell?
I actually went to the Nintendo website and it actually said it was using the cloud. That was the only time it said it was using the cloud.
And then they had, like, was it Strange Brigade, Just Dance, Danganronpa.
Danganronpa is a full remaster. Is the re-releases of 1, 2, and 3. Plus,
and that'll work. Just
plus,
fine.
they spun off the mini game from 3 into its own game. Which, this is the kicker: all those games will be on a physical cart, but in order to get them digitally, you have to buy them individually.
That's annoying. And
so it's going to make more sense to just buy the physical version.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then they had, I guess during the Treehouse, there was an early look at No More Heroes 3, because initially I thought that was weird that was absent.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, again, when you were having to wait 6 months for
confirmation.
Yeah, or almost a year from the time it's already been released. Who's buying this that hasn't played it already?
Which is what Activision has been doing with those Switch ports anyway.
They're so slow with releasing them.
They did it on purpose.
Yeah, I know. There's a Game & Watch for Legend of Zelda's birthday.
That looks legitimately cool.
It looks legitimately cool. The problem is it's going to get scalped like a motherfucker.
It's already sold out in Canada. It was. I looked 5 minutes after it was on every website, and all the other games are able to pre-order. This is $69 and it's gone, because unlike the Mario one, the Mario game was really simple. It was just Mario. This is Zelda 2, plus the original Game Boy version, I guess, of
Link's
Awakening. I don't think it's the DX version. It's only the black and white original.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing, it's obviously an 8-bit emulator they're using, and then they include a remixed version of, was it called Nemesis or something or other, whatever they called where you're catching the Octoroks.
Yeah. Another big thing. I don't know whether this was already stated earlier by Capcom or whatever, but there is a free demo for Monster Hunter Stories that'll be out on the 25th.
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned that. Did they mention that maybe at the terrible Capcom thing
I think so. And
maybe.
Your save data carries forward, which I think is a nice thing.
I think the save data carrying forward was new. I don't think we heard that yesterday.
We did.
We did, okay.
Yeah.
Which
definitely like that trend that's happening with everything.
Well, yeah, because your data just should go into the cloud no matter what, because it doesn't take any real space up in a server farm. I mean, not really. I mean, unless you're Final Fantasy VII save files. But if it's something small,
yeah. Who nobody else in the history of console gaming has had 450 megabyte save files for a single game other than Final Fantasy VII, unless it's like saving your entire roster in a sports title.
Well, it's so weird. Like, I'd like to know what variables it's tracking. I mean, fuck, Persona save files and fucking Mass Effect save files are smaller than this, and there's much more
I think it
variables
might
there.
just be a compression thing.
It could be.
I think I wouldn't be surprised if they're saving like a snapshot of the actual RAM and memory, like taking all the data that's stored in memory and just storing it in a save file instead of storing the variables properly.
That's so lazy, but
Or there's probably some crazy DRM protection or something on it. But you're right. Like you're right, Mike. It's weird because most RPGs are like 5 megabytes.
Yeah,
it's just variables.
And when it comes to saving cross progression, we've now seen it work with so many different FPS titles, like Call of Duty has cross save progression. I'm pretty sure Fortnite does.
Well, it's anybody that has a third party system that you sign into, like Ubisoft has their own.
Which Ubisoft, they're going to start putting that across all of their games starting this year. So
Activision's had it for years. I was surprised that Square didn't, because Square has their Square Enix account and it logs you into their Square Enix account when you play the games on your console. But
that is weird.
It's probably some after effect. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony told them that they could just import the save, and then later on we found out that they closed off the ecosystem, so forcing them to manually upgrade. But regardless, like that was that.
Another big thing I wrote down. New information about Mario Golf, which is out in like a week or two.
Yeah,
is that free updates, new courses, new characters, all free.
That's cool.
Friggin' amazing.
Smart move, not forcing anybody to buy a pass, because
I mean, I'd buy a pass anyway if it was say like new character, sure.
I think everybody's worried though because the tennis game sucked.
Yeah, I guarantee you one of the new characters is going to be Petey Piranha.
Think so?
Yeah. Petey has always been a part of the Mario sports games for the last like couple years. So I will not be surprised if Petey is one of the one.
Give me Dry Bones and King Boo.
Now,
Dry Bones and King Boo.
Yeah. So after that, now we're and they had Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, but there wasn't anything new, I think, shown in that 1 minute trailer.
New WarioWare.
That I'm fucking in for.
Me too. I've only ever seen. I never owned it because I didn't have a GameCube at the time when it was popular, and Wii U, no thanks. And wasn't there like a DS version or something?
The DS one is really good.
I had the one on the Wii.
Probably my favorite. The Wii one's pretty good too, because the Wii one is actually fully. It's like Mario Maker WarioWare.
Yeah, it was really strange. It was one of the first games we reviewed on Twig way back in the day, about 2007, when we got it from Nintendo. And I just remember having a really good
physical release days where you get sent a physical copy of something.
And then we had to send it back. So way back in those days.
When they before they realized that is more problematic for them to track than just to give you the game.
Exactly. They're like, this is such a pain in the ass. Why are we doing this? But yeah, I mean, I was really excited when I saw that. Like, WarioWare, that's so cool.
And isn't it the first time it's multiplayer in the last few iterations?
No, the last few iterations weren't, but this is the first in a while that's been multiplayer. There have been multiplayer ones before.
Okay, so that's I'm looking. It is a full price game, but it looks pretty good. Then there
SMT5.
was SMT5, which we already knew was coming in November because of a leak.
And also the big thing that I noticed, because I'm gonna get this physically, is the physicals will not go on sale till next week.
They're purposefully doing that. I'm wondering if they're trying to gauge. Weird. That's weird. Okay, sure. I guess.
They must have they're trying to finalize something for like a collector's or something.
Probably. I don't think we're going to get an amiibo through it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a soundtrack and something else.
I said this in chat, but in our little Facebook chat, but I get real big trans vibes off the MC.
Which could be going either way when it comes to how they handle it, if that's the case. Or they could be going that it's just ambiguous, that you can
I'd be
choose
fine
whoever
with
you want.
I'd be fine with ambiguous.
They
I
just
just
don't have a
have a
great track
feeling.
record.
I just have a feeling that because SMT is a very serious game that takes on serious issues, they could be dealing with with the ramifications of trans people, and that could be very problematic for both reviews and just general audience reception.
Yeah, and to be clear, it's not anything that you have a problem with. It's a problem with a fear of how a Japanese company who hasn't handled something like that might handle it.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's got to be somebody in marketing or PR saying, "Hey guys, maybe we shouldn't release this in the West right now."
That being said, that's just speculation, right?
That's
Yeah, no,
speculation.
this is just pure
It's very
speculation and my
possible
feeling.
that the character is meant to be ambiguous, or
I'd be
for the,
fine.
or
I'd
for
be
the
fine
sake
with
of
that.
marketing, they're just showing a generic character. You might be able to just select your either a gender or how you present the character in the game. And to be honest, I didn't even notice it. To me, it was just like it's a character. I didn't even think twice because their designs for characters, men and women in these games, have been like, other than like the length of the hair, maybe the voice actor. There's been nothing that really ever said like they were going heavily in one direction or another. So
I think it's because of the trend, because the fact you're going from a very short-haired character to super long flowing mane kind of has me go.
yeah,
That gives me a very trans vibe. On top of the fact that they add eyelashes, like more exaggerated eyelashes, and a much more feminine look to the protag when they transform.
or this might just be the first SMT where the protag is female.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I'd be cool with that. It's just something that I wanted to point out.
Be on your radar that depending on how this goes, if that's the case, it may not be handled the best, or even if it is, you may be in for some angry people going crazy on YouTube regardless either way.
Yeah.
Then they showed, what was it, Fatal Frame
Yes,
is coming. Now
I want.
this I found out though is not an exclusive. We thought it was watching it, but it is coming to all platforms.
Yeah, it is also it's also a port from the Wii U that we never got.
So it's an enhanced port of the Wii U version.
It's an enhanced port of the Wii U.
So I mean that's cool. Sure, I guess, right? And then there was
I owe you a goddamn beer.
Yeah, Advance Wars. We were talking, and I think I said if I go back and listen, it was
you totally called it.
What we were hoping for. I think you said you really wanted Fire Emblem, and I said we're more likely to get an Advance Wars or something strange like that they could do on the cheap from like Game Boy that they poured up. And and then I jokingly said like I hope that it would be Star Tropics. I said I hope it would be Star Tropics, but we probably would get Advance Wars or Switch Wars first. And then it turns out they're porting Advance Wars 1 and 2. Now, does it look the best graphically? No.
No,
it looks like something
honestly,
that a third-party company would make for them. But what they're doing is they are taking games that were essentially 16-bit, really like 320 by 240 pixel count, and they've now made it all hand-drawn, and it has the same charm and feel of those games.
Well, here's the thing. It's not hand-drawn. They are clearly 3D models.
No, I'm talking about they showed like the cutscenes and the character portraits and everything.
No, those are all 3D models.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
If you look closely at how they move, they're actual 3D models that are made to look 2D, like like an Arc Sys game.
Yeah, it's got that. I'm getting like from their portraits, I'm getting a very like Sega Puyo Puyo Tetris vibe.
Yes.
But then from the maps, I'm getting a very like Majesco.
But like if you
Natsume.
if you look closely, sometimes when some of the characters move, they're moving in a 3D space, and you can see that they're 3D models. It's a very good optical illusion. I think that's mostly because the way Advanced Wars is like art style is, there's no outlines to the characters whatsoever. So it makes it a lot easier to turn those into 3D models and still have the same look.
It's a smart move going with this to be the introduction, because it was probably, I think, weren't those two games the only ones that really sold in the West?
Yeah. I think
those are what people.
I think one of the DS ones sold pretty well.
Yeah,
and then
but
it just started going off the deep end.
Yeah, these were the ones that like put them on the map here, because I think prior
it put Intelligent Systems on the map, to be honest.
Yeah, and I don't know if they announced what studio is making this.
I would have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure Intelligent Systems is working on it.
Okay, because it's a cool idea. It also, more exciting than anything, this seems to open the door to that anything is possible now.
Yeah.
Like that, this is clearly them saying, "Hey, we're now looking at Game Boy Advance games that we can port over," and it is being released.
Yeah, no, it is Intelligent Systems.
It's being released at full price, like $80 in Canada, which would be $60 in the States. Which, if it was for one of them, I would say that's too much for what this style is. But for both, this is a pretty good deal.
It's also a tiny game. It's according to the store page, it's 1.4 gigs.
Well, I can see that because it's a lot of how many games nowadays are truly tile based? Like the
and
maps
also
and everything are just
also just reuses a lot of assets.
Yeah, because it's a traditional tile based, grid based. Like they're not drawing new maps from scratch. It's from a maker. What this means though is they clearly made an engine that they could make more if they wanted to make it in the same style.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a testing ground to see can we make a new Advance Wars?
Yeah, like and the next one, they would just call Switch Wars.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm trying to think if there are other Game Boy games. Like I had said maybe the Mario and Luigi games, but I had heard that some of those didn't they get remade for like the 3DS and they weren't great or something?
There's a rumor that the folks over at Camelot are working on a Golden Sun remake.
That's take my money now, especially if it's the two games combined into one. The third game I don't think I ever played, but if it's the first two, that's a big deal. That had a really cool art style too. That was kind of marred and you didn't really get to see all of how good it was because of the resolution limitations on the Game Boy Advance. So this opens the door for anything. So if we see this is basically confirmation that they can do Mother 3 if they want to.
Oh yeah.
And they could do. I would love to see Star Tropics 1 and 2 done in the style.
That'd be pretty legit.
So that's like, I was surprised. This was the most surprised I've been, even though it wasn't like game changing, people freaking out. Like there were rumors that this was going to be a really solid one. There wasn't, but there weren't rumors that there was going to be this many surprises. And then of course they ended up ending the show with what was it? The tease for the Breath of the Wild, but announcing it's not coming till next year, which
not surprising.
Which I'm thinking is to make polish for a version that is to promote the Switch Pro.
Yeah. On top of the fact that it looks like it actually is a smart idea to release Skyward Sword now, because clearly you're going back to Skyloft as ruins.
Well, it's especially this will help if it's announced that the game doesn't run on current Switches.
Yeah.
If they come out and say, "Hey, we want to let you know that this game is only going to be available on the Switch Pro," or whatever the next one is, and let's say they release it sometime in the spring, or maybe they make it their summer game, that will give them 6 months or 7 months to sell like 20 million Switch Pros beforehand. If the rumor is that they're going to release it at Christmas
the
time.
The rumors are they're starting production next month.
Yeah,
which,
and it's not,
which
not
has
like,
me thinking like, if they're not releasing Zelda, there's no way they're releasing the Switch Pro this year, because that's money. That's the money maker.
They'll release something with it, and what it will probably be is Breath of the Wild 4K edition. They'll re-release Breath of the Wild to capitalize on it,
and then just have like an update if you already own the cart.
No, I say I wouldn't be surprised if it's a digital only version that's bundled with the console. to justify the rumored increase to $400 for the price.
I mean, sure, you could bundle it in. I don't think that. I don't think that's out of the ordinary for Nintendo. I just don't think it's the move that they'll make.
Yeah, there's going to be something like if they are releasing
they need something to show that off.
The console for the holidays, like I don't know if they have enough, unless they have a game that they've been holding aside. Like, there's not much else that they could release right now that would really push and justify it, because they're going to want a first-party title to launch alongside it to show what it can do.
Exactly.
So short of them doing Mario Odyssey DX or something, where Mario Odyssey isn't,
or whatever that Donkey Kong game is rumored to be.
Yeah, like if it's a Donkey Kong game, but you'd think that they would want to show off the visuals. Like, unless Donkey Kong looks amazing, I could see a 4K version, 4K 60 Mario Odyssey with a few extra planets.
Like a deluxe version of Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey DX.
Yeah.
Or whatever, or something to that extent. And then, of course, have one or two games that are already coming out that can take advantage of it. I would imagine they would be like, oh, by the way, there's an update for Monster Hunter Rise that now lets you do, 1080p 60, or because there's no way they're doing 4K 60 of that game.
Well,
unless
when it does come to PC, which it's coming to PC, they've already confirmed that. That'll support 4K.
Yeah, so you'll see something like that. It'll be for sure that game, or what would be a huge get is if we start seeing something like a Final Fantasy VII remake. If the exclusivity deal is up and it doesn't go to Xbox, it would be hilarious if it went to Nintendo instead.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
like we're in full speculation mode, right?
Yeah. Well, the big thing with Breath of the Wild 2, like, clearly Zelda is out of the picture. There was thought going around, oh, are we going to finally play as Zelda? Nope. That new trailer kind of just solidified my thought of, yeah, no, not playing as Zelda.
One of the things I actually thought this year, I'm actually really surprised we didn't get a Zelda anniversary collection.
Yeah, that was one of my almost surefire bets that we were gonna see, like, Twilight Princess, at minimum Twilight Princess and Wind Waker come.
Maybe we'll see that come September when they want to announce another, because the only game they have.
What's their holiday title?
Nomura specifically said we have no other Zelda content for this year. I guess specifically said that.
Maybe they're counting the Game and Watch as their compilation.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. The Game and Watch is all we got.
Whoopie fucking do.
So, I think it is Advance Wars. Is that a December release, or is that?
Yeah, that is December 3rd.
So that is their post rush for Christmas. But if you want to get one at the last minute,
what is their Black Friday title?
Pokemon.
Yeah,
Pokemon.
All right, that's fair.
So they have that. Okay, so Pokemon wouldn't be something that would really showcase what the next Switch could do. There's probably one more game they're going to announce at a direct in like September.
Maybe.
And again, if they do, I don't think it's going to be a big new title. I think it's going to be when they announce the Switch Pro, they're going to announce a couple titles that get automatic upgrades, or they're going to announce a couple deluxe versions of a couple first-party titles. Maybe, and if they do announce that it's going to be like free upgrades, then what they're going to do is, for the first time this entire generation, they'll announce the player's choice to come back, and they'll give it'll be like Mario is now $29 US or $39 Canadian or something.
It's not gonna it's gonna be half off. It's not gonna be 20 like it used to be.
Yeah, so instead of 60, it'll be 30, and yeah, that would make sense. $30, and then it also gets an upgrade to run better. Like, if they do that, that's a way to take a game that's already sold. They've pretty much saturated it. Everybody that wants original Breath of the Wild,
they put Kirby at 50% off constantly.
Yeah. So if they announce Player's Choice, and then it says right on there, plays on all Switches, but also has enhancements for Switch Pro, that will be enough to sell. They'll sell an attach rate because it's half price. They'll sell Breath of the Wild and Odyssey both as like somebody with pretty much every person who buys a Switch Pro that doesn't already have those games will get the attach rate that they are looking for.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Birdman, you got anything else to add to this? Anything new?
I'm trying to think if there's anything that really kind of stood out to me.
Yeah, because we're gonna do our big, roundtable either this weekend or the weekend after, whenever people are ready to talk and we've had things settle.
Yeah.
Nothing else was announced that we saw today except for more on what was it, the Dark Anthology, Dark Pictures, whatever the heck it is.
Anthology.
The House of Ashes or whatever. That's interesting. That I might actually get because that looks cool.
It's Game Pass.
Fuck, in that case, fuck yeah, I'm playing it.
Yeah. I think the previous one's on there. I don't know if the first one isn't.
The first one is not on there yet.
Okay.
But it always goes on sale. So.
But that was the entire showcase for Namco. Namco had like a little tease for Tales at one of the other shows. There's been nothing from them on any of their licensed properties.
I'm actually really surprised too. We didn't see more from Sega and Atlas.
Also they announced Kakarot, the game that everyone finds mediocre for Switch,
and it looks like it's running at 540p.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's running 540. It looks like shit.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want to play those games on a big boy console. And I don't know. I mean, I think the Switch, this is its 5th year. You're probably right about a Switch Pro. I think
it's long in the tooth, man.
Yeah.
They would be smart to keep the Lite available as the portable version, and then phase out. Like, I've already been hearing that.
Well, they're going to phase out the Tegra X1 Switches easy because those are easily hackable.
Yeah, and the only ones that they'll keep is the Lite because you can't attach the Joy-Cons or do any of the tricks to actually get access to the code. So it's going to be interesting. They'll want to keep the Lite going for a little bit.
They'll basically do the same thing that they did with the DS Lite and just like it'll eventually phase out, but
it'll be a while.
It'll be a while. It'll be another 5-6 years.
Don't be surprised if you start hearing rumors of them stopping production even before the Switch Pro comes out. On the Tegra-based ones. They'll keep the lights going. They'll keep the chips for that because they know they can make some easy bucks off of it, especially if they change more colors. And let's say that, like, imagine if they do a Pokemon one.
Oh,
another Pokemon theme one, because I had the Pokemon theme one, and that was in super high demand. But the main version,
or you can just be devilish like me and have the means to take the shells off and replace the shells, which is what I did.
I'm actually replacing my shell, hopefully in like the next month or so.
Did you get a tri-screw screwdriver?
No, I'm not doing it. I got a professional to do it.
Okay.
Hey, not bad for $40. So, I'm gonna do that. I mean, overall, Nintendo surprised me more than I thought they would. They basically they came to play. They started strong. They finished strong. We didn't get a Switch Pro announcement. I'm fine with that. We didn't.
They already said that they weren't going to.
Well, I think that the plan was to do it beforehand. I think that they pulled it at the last second. We're going to hear something come August, probably. Something's
going to leak from somebody in China or on Reddit. If this thing exists, we're going to see pictures.
Yeah, if supposedly they start production next month, someone on the line is going to leak it.
And if not there, you know where it's going to get leaked? Don't be surprised if it comes from somebody
like in Mexico or something.
No, in the hacking community, especially if newer games that start getting released over the next couple months, first-party titles.
It's already in the code for the system update.
The system update, but we're going to start seeing it when people make backups of their games.
The newer games.
They'll see profiles in there for it. And that's when we're going to hear it. If it happens right now, like just because they have it in the system software, it could be that they're testing things. But when you start seeing it reported from multiple people on games that are released, that's when we're going to know for sure.
Yeah. So hopefully we will see things soon. I think Nintendo had a fantastic presentation. So when are we all getting together to break all this? I mean, honestly, I've only really watched the big conferences, so I don't really have a whole lot to add.
I mean, I've got a bunch of demos that I'm gonna play over the course of this week.
Do you want to gather at some point this weekend, maybe?
Sounds good to me.
I mean, I guess I'll just kind of sum up my thoughts here for my version of E3. I mean, Microsoft had a really good conference. Not probably their best in a while, but nothing that made me go, holy shit, I must own that. That's all come to Game Pass, so who cares? But that's great. That's cool. Sony, not here. Okay, whatever. Capcom, what the fuck was that? Square Enix, hold on, I can do worse. And whatever. Ubisoft Forward. Rainbow Six, man, Tom Clancy would be very confused as to why John Clark is fighting aliens. But okay, sure, why not? We'll probably play it here on Twig. Far Cry 6 looks fucking awesome. I can't wait to run around with my rocket flamethrower backpack with chorizo and blow up people.
I mean, it's a double amputee puppy that helps you set bombs.
Yeah, so I'm so looking forward to that. What else really blew me away? There's a game called House of Ashes, which looks like very Lovecraftian, so that'll be very cool.
Honestly, Mike, did you play Until Dawn?
Yes, and I fucking loved it. I thought it was so cool. Yeah. I never did beat it though. I kept getting stuck.
Dude, oh my gosh. Just watch a playthrough of the story. Man, that game goes places.
Trying to think of what else really blew me away. Halo multiplayer looks pretty cool. I think the fact that it's going free to play is a huge move.
Oh, also,
it still doesn't look that good though graphically.
I mean, the next day we were talking, the day that Alex watched all the cluster F on Monday, there was a whole thing with Halo Infinite's multiplayer, and they just dumped a whole bunch of new info on us. The big thing that stood out to me was all the battle passes will be available permanently.
Yeah, that I think is really good. So if you happen to miss something, you can just go back and buy that pass. Now, I wish Call of Duty could do that. Fortnite should be doing that.
Yeah, everyone should be doing that.
But they want you to keep spending or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so when we do our roundtable, what we'll also talk about is, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we thought we missed, but also, interestingly, who was absent.
You know what's something that surprised me? And I actually asked this question on Twitter to the developers. Where was Aliens Fire Team? That's supposed to come out this summer.
I forgot that game even existed.
Wasn't there a Predator game coming too?
No. The last Predator game was Predator Hunting Grounds. That was last year.
Oh, that was last year. Okay.
Yeah.
And also the Predator license is in a cluster F because of a lawsuit.
Oh, so that's fun.
Okay.
But yeah, so this year's E3 was kind of whatever. I mean, I'm kind of glad Alex was giving me the time off to not basically have ulcers during E3.
Not die.
I'm making you watch the PC gaming one next year again.
Oh my fucking lord! With fucking,
I'll suffer with you, Mike. Don't worry.
It was so bad.
If I could drink, I would be loaded. Hey, maybe I'll watch that one and just keep eating edibles each time he says something fucking stupid.
Just hide the bleach so that you can't drown yourself in it.
I'd be stoned out of my mind. Fuck that guy. Anyway, so that's going to do it for this day of coverage on E3. Like I said, it's going to be Alex and Ken taking the reins for the final roundtable, as I really don't have a whole lot to add this year other than what I just said. We will have a regular show, as far as I understand. I'm already gathering news for Alex.
Yep. We should, unless I just completely pass out and don't do it.
Yeah. We should have some review stuff coming back. In other good news for me, I'm talking to my doctor. I should be getting my first COVID shot really soon, so go me. My surgery's on July 5th. I should be back within 2 weeks after that, so looking forward to doing that because Comic-Con's still happening. We still got to talk about that.
Yeah, and then sometime in August, I'm taking a break.
Yeah. That's no problem, man. I can definitely take a month. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a lot of content coming out this summer. We will take our break in December. Um, sorry, gapped out. We will take a 2-week summer break though, just because Alex deserves some time off. So
Yeah, we'll have some
And
stuff prepped.
and
That's
it's
going to come
also
out.
hot as F up there.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If you think we're recording when it's triple digits, fuck you. Anyway, now
Well,
that
like,
I've told.
I mean, if I got a portable air conditioner, I might just sit in my boxers in front of it and have it blow on me while we record. But that's about it.
If Mr. Freeze could
There's a
massage
visual
my
for you.
balls, then maybe I would consider it. But until that day, no. So on that mental image that I hope curses you into the night, I have been Mike the Birdman, joined with
Alex.
And Ken.
Mr. Freeze massaging my balls out.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This Week in Geek. Hungry for more? Check out our website at thisweekingeek.net. You can subscribe to the podcast, browse our Twitter and Instagram, and leave your thoughts on today's topics. If you'd like to give us some feedback, send us an email at feedback@thisweekingeek.net. Tune in next time, and remember,
Lower your shields and surrender your listenership.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Thank you for your cooperation. Good night.